Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful old friend in the studio. It's Steve Brockman, and he's from Expert Plumbing, Heating, and Electric. I swear every time I talk to you, Steve, you add something new to your name, or you just keep expanding the business.
Yeah, I like to extend my title so I look more important.
Is that it? I was wondering. I think maybe that you just are an overall nice guy, and every time you seem to go to somebody's house, you find something else you can do for them.
Yeah, for money, but yeah.
For money, but yeah, we all have to make a living, but you really do. It started out with plumbing, and you just kept adding things on because you found out that people needed that help.
Well, there's a little more to it, but as the economy turned, I brought in the electrical because a friend of mine who we were using for all our electrical said he was closing his doors. And I said, well, why don't you come on board with me? And then he brought in the heating and air guys, and so we've just kind of grown exponentially. And things have been pretty good in the last year. I mean, for a while there it was lean for everybody, but things are starting to take off a little bit.
Well, you know, I think that's smart, because once you meet one guy that does something well for you, so if you've had him over, and your guys have been over to my house for plumbing, you know, once you meet and you do a good job there, then other things break.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, who do I call? Well, I know a plumber. Well, oh, hey, now he does electric. Awesome, let me call you.
We got a lot of calls where people were getting water out of their light fixtures, and they didn't want us to touch it because they wanted to have an electrician there.
Right. Well,
so now we have both.
You have both.
Yeah.
Both. Well, and that's awesome, because you also run a really pretty big outfit. So you're 24/7. You can always call and get somebody to help. Well, because none of this stuff ever happens when we want it to happen.
No, it never does. And I've kind of built my career on that. People's tragedy is, well, I don't want to say it's my fortune, but let's just say it's a need, and I filled it. Right.
Well, and we appreciate it. I mean, there's nothing worse than, especially with plumbing, when it comes to bathrooms, it's nothing worse when that problem happens. It always seems to happen when you're going to have guests over, or the sink backs up, or something.
So, or Christmas.
Or Christmas, or a holiday.
Any holiday.
Right.
They're all good.
Right. Yeah. So if you went into this because you didn't want to work 24/7, well, you missed that one.
Yeah.
So, but you also have a couple new developments, which I think are kind of exciting. So tell me a little bit about you've hired the first female technician, and being a small and mighty woman, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Well, so, we pretty much at some point or another have hired every minority, and now we've finally broken the female barrier. We have our first full-time female electrician.
That's awesome.
We're hoping she's going to be as good as we think she is. She's only been with us a short time, but we're very hopeful, and she's very charismatic.
That's awesome.
She's very charismatic.
Well, that's neat. I mean, women are getting into the trade fields because they find out, that's a nice way to, earn some money. Why not? Why not?
A lot get in. Not everyone stays.
Right.
We get a lot of people who think it's going to be easy, but if you go in with the understanding that it's a difficult job, and it's very difficult physically, and if you're prepared to deal with that, then you shouldn't have any problem with it. It can be a great career.
It can. Well, look at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you, Steve. You've done.
I don't do anything.
Yeah. You do a little bit more than I think you give yourself credit for. But you also have a neat new product, or I call it a service. So once again, I'm really glad you didn't add it to your name yet. So I expect to see you next year when you've added something else to your name. But
well, it's part of our heating and air division.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But we're doing something called AeroSeal, and AeroSeal is a process by where we go into your ductwork in your home with a hose and a camera, and it's on a computer, and you can watch as we're doing it.
Cool.
And the hose goes through your ductwork, finding openings and holes and sealing them from the inside. So if you have a lot of ductwork that runs through your attic, or it runs through walls, and you think you're losing a lot of your heating or air conditioning efficiency, this process will basically eliminate the loss of heat and cold inside your walls and attics.
Wow.
Yeah. It runs about $1,600 a home, and there are some rebates available depending on the size of the home, and we're qualified to get you any of those that could possibly pertain to your particular home. So.
Do you find people are more concerned with making sure that everything is a little bit more efficient and eco-friendly?
Well, I hate to say this, but it's going to be mandatory very shortly. One of the things that the government is doing is everything has to be at such a high efficiency rate that water heaters by this time next year will no longer be made the same way. They have to have more insulation in them. You won't be able to buy a short water heater. I had a woman come to me and say, we have 180 units and we have 30-gallon heaters under our kitchen sink. And I said, you better buy 180 of them because next year they can't make them anymore. They're too inefficient. And so the government is mandating these efficiencies. So yes, people want them, but they're also going to be part of the general makeup of construction from now on. So.
Right, and if you already own one of these and the water heater fails, you're going to be moving into this new and improved model, whether you kind of want to or not.
Well, making room for it is more like it. If you have a heater under your kitchen sink, you probably don't have much room for it.
Right, so. Yeah, it's going to be a tighter fix for you.
Yeah,
so
a lot of work.
A lot of work. But, and this kind of goes along with the whole idea that, you always are just doing, anything and everything to help people out and move things along. But you're working with the city of Naperville.
We have a couple of contracts with the city of Naperville. One is for sewer rotting. We're like their emergency service. If they can't get their guys out, they'll call us. Or there's a couple other contractors who I will never mention.
Right. Right.
Who are also on this contract. But we're doing all the water meters in town. And basically we come in and change the water meter in your house. And pretty much I'm doing most of them myself because I get a chance to meet people and talk to people. And it's like rebranding. I absolutely love it. I love it. And this is our 4th year doing it.
Well, that's exciting. And who doesn't want to have you come over and chat with you for...
Yeah, because I'm cool.
Well, you're fun. Though I imagine that probably cuts down on the efficiency because you're sitting there chatting with them and, next thing you know, a couple hours have gone by and,
Well, I've actually had that happen.
I'm not surprised.
My guys can typically do 15 in a day. I get 8.
You get 8.
Yeah.
Well, they figured you out, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, and we also know you for your parades and the interesting floats you've always put together to represent your team and your family's always involved.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you? Why is the community important?
Well, I have to tell you first that we won an award from the DuPage Children's Museum for the Innovative Contraption Competition. It's kind of a Rube Goldberg machine. And I built this monstrosity that we got first place.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because it's just something fun to do. And when we got the trophy, the person with the biggest grin was my 7-year-old son.
Oh, nice.
So it's always worth doing it. We're currently building a float for the WDSRA.
Right, they do a great job in the community.
Right, we're building their float
Oh,
because
awesome.
they were struggling, and I said, I've done 1 or 2, I can help you with that. So, yeah, so we're doing that and whatever. My wife's a Rotarian, and we do a lot of stuff.
You do. You are a good community participant. You're a good businessman. You're overall a good guy there, Steve Brockman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, hey, thanks for stopping by and saying hello and letting us know what's going on again in your world. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.